Happy Wednesday. We are in the book of Habakkuk. It opens with Habakkuk complaining that the Jews are being very scattered and spiritually slothful and unjust, and that nobody seems to care but him. He's mad at God that God isn't doing anything about it. And then God says, I'm going to do something about it. I'm sending the Babylonians. And then we see this passage where Habakkuk says, well, okay, that's even worse than what you were not doing before, because the Babylonians are worse than the Jews. You can't use the Babylonians to punish the Jews. So all of that is used there to set up what we call the problem of evil. Now, the problem of evil, there's actually two problems of evil. You have to listen closely. We're not going to go after what is, I would say, the real problem of evil, and that is, where does evil come from? If God creates everything, how exactly does evil get started? So that's a deeper philosophical dive than we're going to pull off in a 5-minute morning devotional. The problem of evil, as it is often stated in in college freshman classes, English classes, and philosophy classes, is something that sort of the classic statement of this comes in the 5th century BC with the Greek philosopher Epicurus, who says if God is really all powerful, he could stop evil, and if he was really all good, he would stop evil. But evil exists, there's pain and injustice and suffering. So obviously God is either not able to stop evil or he doesn't want to. Or as some have abbreviated this, if he's good, he would. If he could, he should. Since he doesn't, he isn't. So this is the classic statement of the problem of evil. Now, I'm not going to go into this in any great length, but I'll say just a couple things about it. First of all, when people are facing suffering and trial and loss and things like that, I'll sometimes get a call from somebody saying, I'm going over to my neighbor, her mother just died, or so-and-so just lost their job, or so-and-so just found out they have cancer, or so-and-so just lost their child, whatever. What in the world am I going to say? Where is God in all this? How do I explain that? And my answer is consistently, look, people do not need an answer. They just need a friend. Don't say anything. Go there and hug them and cry and figure out how you're just going to help them, stand alongside them. Even if they're asking the question, like, where is God? Don't go there. That's not the time. Secondly, I would say that the problem of evil is not just a problem for Christians. It's a problem. It's one of these big philosophical conundrums. Every religion and every culture is left trying to help people deal with evil and to deal with suffering and to provide meaning. So it's worth noting that Western secularism, which we're living in, is the least prepared to help people. And so there's just considered to be no upside to trials and suffering by many people. And so there's just not a lot of answers that are given. It's also worth noting that the problem of evil is a problem for atheists. They're actually left, and C.S. Lewis writes about this perhaps the most helpfully and persuasively. He got struck as an atheist with this question of where do I get the idea that there's any good? Like, on what do I base my moral outrage? Like, I'm frustrated with God. This is sort of, again, the atheist's creed. There is no God, and I'm mad at him. And I don't believe in this God, but somehow I believe that there ought to be good and that there ought to be justice and there ought to be all these things. Well, on the basis of what? This is sort of what Nietzsche would also say. So the intro to C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity talks about this, as does a letter from a Birmingham jail by Martin Luther King. So look, the problem of evil is a problem, and there's times to sort of have these discussions and unpack it and to see like it's a problem for everybody, and it causes us to have to think at levels that we often don't think. But it's not exactly how God goes about answering this. So we will come back to that tomorrow as we continue in Habakkuk.